Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Rei-Lin, and today I'm going to be talking about, of course, World of Warcraft Legion. This is the latest expansion from Blizzard for World of Warcraft, and most people probably know what World of Warcraft is, and either love it or they hate it. I tend to veer towards loving the game, but not nearly as much as I used to when I started way back in 2005. So this game's been around and they've been slowly hemorrhaging players over the years. Just some expansions were definitely not as popular as others. I think with Legion, Blizzard is really trying to get back a lot of the people that like the Burning Crusade. That's why they're bringing back the Legion and trying to make everything a little bit more dark and things like that. By the way, there are going to be spoilers. I might talk about the story, or you might see something in these clips that spoil something for you. So if you don't like spoilers, don't watch the video or don't listen to me ramble on here. I'm just kind of making a video showcasing things like this where I fell right through the floor and ended up sort of where I wanted to go anyway. Kind of interesting. There's so much to talk about with Legion that it's really going to be hard for me in this little bit of a video that I decided to make just to put something out there. That it's I have to be more specific. You know, there's the artifact weapons like you see here, and the path to take that's most efficient for the spec and the class that you are for your artifact weapon. What kind of runes you want to put in it to power up certain skills along the artifact tree. And the class halls, or the order halls as they call them, for each class, it's very different and sort of serves as the new garrison mechanic. So it's just a lot to talk about, and to hit it all in one video, it'd be an hour and a half long. So if anyone in particular wants to comment and say, hey, I need some help, I need to understand how this works or that works, and I can make a little video on that to explain some of the ideas that have gone into this. I can try to help out as much as I can, because that's why I'm here. With Armored Warfare sort of not being that popular anymore, I'm trying more or less struggle to find a game that I think a lot of people either play or would try out if they had some idea of what the hell is going on. So that's kind of why I'm here. In Armored Warfare, I'm helping people make decisions, or at least I hope that I'm helping people make decisions on which premium tanks are good and which aren't really worth the money. And with World of Warcraft, it gets to the point where it's been out so long that it's gotten so complicated with so many things going on that you generally have to go watch a video by somebody like me, or somebody even better than me, to explain some of the little intricate things that you might even miss. I mean, like this right here, I'm going through the perk system for my order hall, and if you didn't know, I mean, they do have quest lines that lead you to that, but if you didn't know to expect that, you may just completely forget about it and not even do it. So that would be bad, because those perks are very good. Obviously, the artifact weapon system, like you're seeing here, is in, and every class has a different artifact weapon for every spec, and an entire storyline and quest chain that goes along with obtaining them, which is also very different based exactly on the spec that you're going for. Right now I'm using Assassination, and supposedly it's not as good as Combat in like a raid setting or something like that, but opinions may vary. I tend to have a lot more fun with Assassination than with Combat, but that's just me. They've also upped a lot of the quest chains to something like this, where they're doing in-game cinema displays like you see here. And that is really cool, because, the story itself is a very big narrative, and when it's just told in text and it's just constantly a bunch of reading, okay, a lot of people do like to read the story, and a lot of that is still in the game, but a lot of times they're breaking it up with cinemas like this, where you're finding out what the hell you're doing, why you're doing it, but now you're watching it happen, and you're just kind of there observing more than just sitting there reading and going on and on and on. Legion has sort of moved a little bit in the direction, I would assume, as one of my friends said, Final Fantasy game, where up until now they talk about you as a hero or as a champion of the light and things like that, but everything you do is sort of like you're under orders by somebody else to go out and do all this stuff, and then you end up winning. You're part of the story, but you're never really feeling like you're the lead part in the story. You're like an extra. All these heroes and champions you see here, like Khadgar, are the main players, and you're just sort of on the sidelines and they order you around. Well, in Legion, it's sort of not like that anymore. Now you're character is sort of taking center stage because you're leading the assaults on the Legion. You're doing everything. You're going and taking control of your class halls, your order hall. You're running missions and doing sting operations, and it's all down to what you're doing is really affecting how well the entire war is doing. So everyone is kind of like a general now, leading thousands of troops into battle. You're no longer just sitting on the sidelines taking orders from someone. You're actually giving the orders to people and making sure that those orders are carried out and things like that. And it's told in these little cinema displays, and I think it's definitely helps get the immersion back into the game. I think a lot of that went away, and it's just been slowly slipping away to just becoming so generic that it's just not that fun anymore or interesting. But now you're kind of thrust into the hero role, and everybody knows who you are, and that to me makes it seem like you're sort of center stage in a movie. You are the star. This part here, it's me, and this is going after my second artifact weapon, which was a pair of swords. It's specific to the spec, so I should have been in combat mode right now, but it doesn't really matter because the different specs of a rogue, not quite that dramatically different when you compare, like, say, a Ret Paladin versus a Holy Paladin. Quite a big difference there. And this is just one of the quests where you're putting your skills as a rogue to the test to get these artifact swords. And so this is kind of just me showing you something in the background here as if you are a rogue and you're going for the swords, this is kind of the stuff that you're going to be doing. So you might take some advice here just watching this and watching me beat the crap out of this stuff to understand what's going on. And of course I do make mistakes, and I have died plenty of times trying to be sneaky and things like that. But overall the game has been really enjoyable for me so far. The questing is still the standard WoW questing that they've always had, but now it just seems like it flows a little bit better. You go to certain places that you choose, as opposed to just being shoved into one linear storyline. You can sort of bounce around, and the levels of the zones change to match whatever level you are. So outside of a couple of spots that is definitely designed for in-game, where the mobs are 110, which is the new level cap, it scales to your level. So every map that you go to, the mobs are going to be whatever level you are. And same with the dungeons now. Everything is scaled to your level, so you never have to worry about being undergeared or overgeared. Everything is going to be right where they need to be to give you the best experience when you're killing them and when you're completing the quest. So you're never going to end up with like a gray quest or a green quest again that's only giving you half of the normal experience because you got there too late, you're over leveled, and you're just trouncing everything. Everything still remains somewhat of a challenge, and I think that's a pretty good change. I mean, I don't know why they didn't implement that much sooner, but hey, it's here now, and I think it's done really well. And if I have to suggest anything in this video, if you're going to play the game here, I would suggest getting at least one add-on called Handy Notes, and then get the Legion Treasures add-on that Handy Notes will use, so that you can find all the rares and all the treasures that is on every single map. There's achievements to go along with that, which is awesome. And here's my swords. You pick them up, and you're going to do a little haha victory pose, and it does this for every single weapon that you get for every class and every spec. You got little cinemas and stuff like that. But the reason why I suggest doing the Handy Notes to find the treasures is because now treasure is even more important than it was in the last expansion, simply because you now have order hall, like garrison resources, but it's for your order hall now. And they almost always give you what they call artifact power. And they're essentially little on-use items, and it gives artifact power to your artifact weapon. And you take that artifact power, it's like experience points, and you'll spend those experience points to unlock different skills on your artifact weapon. That's what the whole point of it is. And now you're getting that artifact power from the dungeons, from questing, and from the treasures that are just all over the place out there in the world. So it's a very useful add-on if you're thinking about grabbing Legion and trying it out, because that gives you a lot of extra supplies and a lot of extra artifact power, and it's in the zone that you're in questing anyway. So it's a really nice way to kind of bump that up, and it's really fun because sometimes you will get some items that are very good for you to equip, armor and weapons and things like that. So overall, the game itself has improved itself in a lot of ways, making it a little bit more cinematic, putting you pretty much at the head of everything that's happening, as opposed to just, oh, I'm just on the sidelines as another character. And being able to command your troops in your order hall is really cool. You know, it's very similar to the garrison. Like I said, you send your champions and your troops out on missions, and they come back with loot. And but it's not just that; they're actually used now for quest lines. I mean, if you have a quest chain that's saying, "Oh, you need to talk to the wardens," which is a demon hunter quest chain, you have to talk to the wardens. You need the wardens to help you out. There will be 5 or 6 missions that you need to send people on, and they have to complete those missions in order to move on in the quest chain. And while that, it kind of gates you a little bit as far as how fast you can get this stuff done, in a way it's still kind of cool, because, you know, it's something else that you're doing. You can start up the mission, send your troops out, and then while they're doing their thing, you can still be leveling and still be questing in another zone. It's all very, very easy to work out, and just makes sense. And here you can see, you know, I've got the dread blades now, I got the swords, and all of this becomes a quest chain, and then I can get another quest chain here to pick up the third of my spec, which would be for subtlety. And basically you can get your artifact weapon for every spec, and you level them up separately, and things like that. So they're very, very cool in a lot of ways. You have different skins you can put on them to change the look completely, and you can transmog them if you don't like their default look. So overall, very good start to the expansion. They did have some server issues, of course, every single time that the new expansion comes out. That's to be expected. And overall, Blizzard has done what they've always done and helped out a lot of people. They've squashed a lot of the bugs already. They've got the stability up pretty much back to what it was before the patch. So overall, the experience I've had with the game so far has been really positive. It is a much darker theme. There's a lot of heroes and champions from World of Warcraft lore that are dying left and right, so it almost feels like World of Warcraft Game of Thrones edition. So if you like that kind of thing, if you like seeing heroes dying left and right and you're not sure if they're gonna make it any further, then you might really get into this storyline more than you have in the past. And as it is World of Warcraft, if you weren't that excited about World of Warcraft, or you don't like World of Warcraft, doesn't matter what they change, you're probably not going to be rushing back to try it out anyway. But overall, I still say that the game is a lot of fun. I think that it should be tried out by everyone. I think there's something in here now for everyone, whether you're a casual, whether you're a raider, hardcore, or otherwise. The game has just improved itself to the point where there's so much new stuff, and this way the system has changed with the artifact weapons, the way that the skills have now been changed, and that almost every spec for every class is very different from another, just adds that much more, in a way, complexity, but at the same time, it's kind of simmered down on a lot of the complexity to make it a little bit more casual, a little bit easier to ease into the game, and make itself very reachable for people that don't have a lot of time, all the way up to people that have tons of time. I'm going to be making a lot more World of Warcraft Legion videos in the future. I'll probably be starting with my rogue or maybe my demon hunter, as my demon hunter is now max level, and I'm working on my rogue and soon to be working on other classes too. But up until I max out all 13 of my characters, I'm going to have a lot of learning and questing advice that I can give to anyone, or just advice in general if you guys want it. And that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please press the like button down below. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, you can click down at the bottom of your screen right now, and that'll get you the latest updates when I make a video on anything, whether it's Armor Warfare or World of Warcraft, Legion, or other games that I think you all might enjoy. Otherwise, that's going to do it. Take care, and I'll talk to you all next time.